My mother sat across from me with a glowing excitement that instantly made my stomach twist. The kind of excitement she never reserved from me, but always saved from my sister. I had come to what I believed was another meeting to finalize my wedding plans. But instead, Mom clasped her hands together and announced, "We have wonderful news. Your sister's 10th anniversary is the same weekend as your wedding. Isn't that perfect? We're going to combine the celebrations." For a moment, I actually waited for her to laugh, to admit this was some strange attempt at humor. But she just kept smiling. I stared at her in disbelief. "But this is supposed to be my wedding day," I said quietly, trying to make sense of her words. My father didn't miss a beat. He waved his hand dismissively and replied, "It's all one party. You and Jennifer can share the spotlight. It's more efficient this way." Efficient. Like my wedding was a chore list they needed to complete. My heart sank. I'm Sarah. I'm 28 years old, a nurse practitioner who has spent the last 3 years saving endlessly for my dream fall wedding. I've always been the responsible daughter, the one who rearranges her schedule when someone needs a ride, who pays for unexpected repairs, who steps in when things fall apart. My family sees me as the backup generator that keeps everything running when their world tips sideways. Meanwhile, my sister Jennifer has always been the center of attention, the golden child whose achievements are magnified while mine are treated as routine updates. And now they had decided that my wedding, the day I had dreamed of since I was a teenager, should play second fiddle to her anniversary. 6 months earlier, when I'd first announced my engagement to Michael, I was bursting with joy. We picked October 15th because I'd always imagined a fall ceremony with crisp air, warm colors, and cozy lights. When I mentioned the date to my parents, they acted thrilled. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," Mom said, and Dad nodded in approval. For months, everything felt normal. I booked our venue, chose burgundy and cream as our colors, finalized the floral arrangements, and sent out the save the dates. My parents checked in occasionally, asked questions, and seemed genuinely invested. I had no reason to suspect anything. Then came the family meeting, the one that flipped my life upside down. Mom announced their brilliant idea with that same overexcited tone she used when talking about my sister's accomplishments. Jennifer practically bounced in her seat, grinning ear to ear. "Since my anniversary is on October 17th, this works perfectly." Dad chimed in proudly, "One big celebration. It'll be beautiful and efficient." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean combine them?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Mom leaned in and said, "Jennifer deserves a big celebration for her milestone anniversary. And this way, you two don't have to do everything separately. It's perfect." Then Jennifer added with a sugary smile, "Plus, I've been thinking about renewing our vows, and with Sarah helping pay for everything, we'll make it unforgettable." Helping pay. Those words echoed in my mind like a siren. Everything inside me tightened. Something wasn't right. The following weekend at Sunday dinner confirmed my worst fears. Extended family members came up to congratulate Jennifer, not me, on the combined event. Aunt Margaret gushed about how thoughtful and clever it was to merge the celebrations, while Uncle Bob laughed and said, "Jennifer's anniversary is such a milestone, and Sarah's getting married too, perfect 2-for-1." Everyone kept referring to Jennifer's anniversary as the main celebration and my wedding as some convenient add-on. Every sentence felt like another slap across my face. And then decisions began happening without me. The color scheme was switched to gold and ivory, Jennifer's favorites. My burgundy theme was dismissed as too dark for a joyful anniversary. The ceremony location was changed at the last minute because the renewal ceremony needed more space. The decor, the flower choices, the music playlist, everything now centered around Jennifer. Every time I tried to voice my opinion, Mom said, "Don't worry about the details. Jennifer has experience with big celebrations. Let her lead the way." What she really meant was step aside. At my own engagement party, things got worse. Dad stood up with a wine glass and announced loudly, "Tonight we're celebrating Jennifer's decade of marriage. It's an amazing achievement. And of course, Sarah's little starter marriage, too." The room erupted in laughter. Starter marriage? As if me and Michael were just practicing for our real one? I sat there humiliated, wishing I could disappear. But the real blow came when Mom handed me a stock of final vendor contracts during a planning meeting. "Should we need to talk about finances?" she said gently, as if she were doing me a favor. I opened the packet and felt my vision blur. The costs, the deposits, the totals, everything added up to $63,000. And my name was listed as the sole payer. I looked up slowly. "This says I'm paying for everything." Dad nodded matter-of-factly. "Well, Jennifer shouldn't have to pay for your wedding expenses." I shook my head. "This isn't my wedding. This is mostly her anniversary party." Jennifer just smiled and said, "You're lucky you get to celebrate alongside our milestone. Not everyone gets that chance." Later that night, I overheard Mom telling the wedding planner, "Please remember, Jennifer's anniversary is the priority. Sarah's wedding is secondary." Secondary. My own parents demoting the most important day of my life. What they didn't know, however, was that I had been recording everything. I'm a nurse. Documenting details is second nature. The moment they announced the combined celebration, something in me clicked. I began recording every conversation, every planning meeting, every vendor call where they prioritized Jennifer's event over mine. Hours of evidence. While they were busy designing Jennifer's dream anniversary on my wallet, I was secretly building something else, my escape plan. Every extra shift I said I was working, those were meetings with alternative vendors. Every doctor's appointment I pretended to have, those were consultations for a backup wedding. The more I dug, the more I discovered. My parents had promised Jennifer this extravagant anniversary months before I got engaged. They'd planned to fund it with my savings the moment I announced my wedding. I wasn't just a backup plan. I was the financial plan. Michael, my fiancé, was horrified. He said, "They're literally stealing your wedding day. You can't let them ruin this." And he was right. So we quietly booked a beautiful garden venue for the weekend before the combined event. A small ceremony, 25 close friends, simple decorations, flowers I loved, music we chose. It was everything my original wedding was supposed to be. Intimate, warm, ours. On October 8th, under golden leaves and twinkling lights, I married the man I loved without the chaos, without the disrespect, without the shadow of my sister's anniversary. It was peaceful. It was perfect. It was ours. A week later, on October 15th, the day of the combined celebration, my phone began ringing nonstop. Mom's frantic voice burst through the speaker. "Sarah, where are you? The ceremony starts in 2 hours." I calmly replied, "I'm on my honeymoon." Silence. "What do you mean you're on your honeymoon?" she screamed. "I mean, Michael and I got married last weekend." More silence. Dad snatched the phone. "You can't abandon your wedding," he shouted. "I didn't abandon anything," I said. "My wedding already happened. What you planned was Jennifer's anniversary party." And before they could protest, I played the recordings. Every manipulative sentence, every conversation where they sidelined me, every moment they dismissed my wedding as secondary. They broke. I could hear it in their breathing, the panic of facing the consequences of their own choices. Dad finally said, "You can't leave us with this bill." I answered, "Watch me," and hung up. By the end of the weekend, Jennifer's anniversary event collapsed entirely. The venue demanded payment, the caterers pulled out, the vendors canceled when the deposits never came. 150 guests received last-minute notices that the celebration was canceled. Extended family began calling me, some apologizing, some stunned, some admitting they finally saw how poorly I had been treated all these years. Jennifer's marriage went into turmoil from the embarrassment and the financial disaster. My parents tried to apologize eventually, but only after they were forced to face the mess they created. As for me, I sat beside the ocean on my honeymoon with Michael's hand in mine and realized something huge. I never needed their approval. I never needed their validation. I needed my boundaries, my respect, my peace. I finally understood that sometimes the responsible one becomes the easiest target until the day she decides she's done being used. And when that day comes, everything changes. If you've ever had to stand up to family betrayal, know this: your joy matters, your boundaries matter, and your special day matters just as much as anyone else's. Never let anyone convince you you deserve less. You deserve to be the star of your own story.